Good day, everyone. I am Romajan Guevara, your discussant for today. Our topic is all about the development of visual arts in the Philippines. First, let us discuss the introduction. On painting. Painting on churches started in Manila with the priests as painter-decorators. Second, painting during the American period has a lesser direct value. Third, Filipino painters during the American period painted for the love of art. Fourth, Filipino painters during the war sketched portraits for a living. Next, introduction for sculpture. Even before the arrival of the Spaniards in the Philippines, some forms of native sculpture, mostly idols, already existed. Second, sculpture developed very slowly in the Philippines. Third, after the revolution in 1896, the Filipino sculptors began to erect monuments. Fourth, at the turn of the second decade of American rule in the Philippines, international competition for the design of a Rizal monument was held. Fifth, an impressive monument for the Queen's Martyrs stands proud in Naga City. And sixth, Guillermo Tolentino developed a marvelous mystery of the human figure. The introduction for architecture. First, Filipino houses were made of lighthouses before the coming of the Spaniards to the Philippines. Second, all houses in Manila were built to serve as memorials and exhibited architectural designs. Third, classical architecture during the American period became famous for its porticos, vestibules, colonnades, and arcades. Fourth, the first buildings of architectural importance in Intramuros were the San Agustin Church and Manila Cathedral. Fifth, the Paway Church in Ilocos Norte stands out as a rarity among churches in Luzon because of the presence of 26 tapering buttresses, each buttress crowned by blunt-ended pinnacles. And sixth, the Morong Church facade is of local Baroque architecture. Seventh, the Carker Church is situated in an elevated ground. The development of painting in the Philippines. The historical development of painting in the Philippines may be traced into three periods. First, the Spanish period, second, the American period, and third, the modern period. Painting during the Spanish period. The first stone churches were built in Intramuros in the 17th century. Painting in churches started in the Manila area with the priests as painter decorators. The Augustinian fathers also offered drawing lessons to the Filipinos. Native Filipino painters had the freedom to choose the colors of figures. Early religious painting had similarities with European works. Some of the painters during this period were Jose Dance, Damiano Domingo, Cristiano Asuncion, and Alfonso Ongpin. Ito ang ilan sa mga halimbawa ng painting during the Spanish period. The Academia. A royal decree promulgated on March 13, 1846, founded the Academia de Bihojo y Pintura in the city of Manila. Agustin Saiz, the director, was the lone faculty member. Lorenzo Roca, who succeeded Saiz as director, joined the school in 1867. Simon Flores y de la Rosa was one of those who studied in the Academia. He created most of his religious canvases using paints. Some of his paintings include Saint John the Baptist, Madonna and Child, then feeding chickens, displayed at the National Museum. Lorenzo Guerrero, who also studied in Academia, was a master in non-religious and creative painting. His famous painting is From the Market, a masterpiece rendered in watercolor. Felipe Rojas was a landscape painter. His Church of Antipolo burst on the spot studio color. Other famous painters of this time were Felix Martinez, Ramon Martinez, Jose Martinez, Manuel Flores, Anselmo Espirito, Manuel Espirito, and Pepe Lozano. Rafael Enriquez later became director of the UP School of Fine Arts. One of his paintings is La Muerta de Simón de Anda. The 19th century masters. Juan Luna and Felix Resurrección Hidalgo received high honors abroad for their works. While Juan Luna was in the Philippines, he studied under Saez, Roca, and Guerrero. His Espoliarium won him a gold medal in the Exposition Nacional de Bellas Artes. Prior to Espoliarium, he painted La Muerte de Cleopatra in 1881 in Rome. He also painted El Pueblo y los Reyes, Blood Compact, and Portrait of Legazpi. Luna succumbed to heart attack in 1899 in Hong Kong. Felix Resurrección Hidalgo y Padilla came from a wealthy family in Manila. He studied at the Academia under Saez. At the Academia, he only painted indoors, and so he went to the open painting of the Spanish countryside. The paintings of Hidalgo include Virgins Cristianas, Expertas al Populacho, La Vaca de Corinto, and Oedipus and Antigone. Hidalgo died in Spain in 1913. Next is the painting during the American period. Painting has lesser direct utility value than architecture. There were a few painters, but they painted simply for the love of art. Painting suffered standstill as commerce became generally restricted during the period between the Spanish rule and the assumption of American government. This naturally disabled the artist financially. Some of the famous painters of this time were Miguel Zaragoza, Rafael Enriquez, Fabian de la Rosa, Teodoro Buenaventura, George Pineda, Ramon Peralta, and Isidro Ancheta. So, this one is the sample painting during the American period. It is painted by Vicente Rivera y Mir. Painting during the modern period. Amidst the ruins of Far and Rizal Avenue, Escolta, and parts of Azcaraga, the artists were set to sketch portraits for a living. They were paid $5 per drawing in 1951. A gallery for the modern painting was established on the side street of Calle Mabini in Ermita. This gallery was called the Philippine Art Gallery. Heads of Igorots, Ifugaos, Mindanao Muslims, Bagobos, and Mangyans were the favorite subject in the gallery. In time, the artists in Mabini Street became known as the Mabini Painters. Mabini Painters garnered major prizes in the AAP competitive exhibitions. Romeo Enriquez Sonata won first place. In 1953, the roster of modern painters included Fernando Zubel de Ayala, Victor Orteza, Manuel Rodriguez, Hugo Yunzon, Vicente Manansala, Arturo Luz, Hernando Ocampo, Cesar Legazpi, Ramon Estela, and Romeo Tabuena. This one is example painting during the modern period. Now, let's move on to the development of sculpture in the Philippines. Sculpture during the Spanish period. Sculpture developed very slowly in the Philippines. The sculptors learned from their predecessors or from the experience of fellow sculptors. The best examples of 18th century images are the bas-relief Estaciones in the Church of Tanay. The image of La Purísima Concepcion, presumably left by Salcedo's men, also in Tanay, and the Saint John and Christ at the Morong Church. Realism developed fully in the Manila area in the 19th century. There were not only native sculptors but also Sangleys who were skillful in the craft. The well-carved images and ornamentations in the patio of San Agustin Church were of Baroque art. They were done mostly in the 18th century. This is the sculpture during the Spanish period. Sculpture during the American period. After the revolution in 1896, Filipino sculptors began to erect monuments. The monuments of Jose Rizal were constructed in plazas all over the archipelago. In 1905, a full-figure monument was undertaken by Ramon Martinez. The monument was erected at the site of the city of Balintawak in honor of Andres Bonifacio. It also displayed other heroes, but it was popularly known as the Bonifacio Monument. The Rizal figure with the book and top coat became the prototype of Rizal monuments all over the Philippines. In some towns, the monument of Rizal is elaborate, such as those in Baliwag, Bulacan, and in Plaza Rizal in Naga City, Camarines Sur. In Naga City, the stereotyped Rizal figure stands atop of quadrangle shaft, a book on the crutch of the left arm and the right arm half raised. An angelic figure clings with her left hand on the edge of the top of the shaft. Her right arm is outstretched, offering a crown of olives. On the stepped subbase are female figures. Also in Naga City are the impressive monuments of the 15 martyrs, Queens Martyrs, located at the Queens Martyrs Plaza. The 15 martyrs are carved in bas relief on 15 medallions around the sub-vase. Four vases with female figures holding electric bulbs surround the monument. The monument bears the following inscription: El Pueblo de Camarines Sur a sus Queens Martyres. In the Cebu City Plaza, Rizal is depicted writing his last farewell. An oil lamp sits beside the parchment on the four-legged table. In Sorsogon, the monument of Rizal was done in realistic proportions. The figure stands with an overcoat in the crotch of his left hand. Three figures, doctor, priest, and officer, are sculpted in high relief on the base below the main Rizal figure. In Carcar, Cebu, the Rizal monument has an impressive setting with an ornate base built on a wide, tapering platform with balustrades and formed stairs of 12 steps. Guillermo Tolentino sculpted the Rizal figure in Binyan City. Laguna other sculptors like Ramon Martinez, Eulogio Garcia, Fidel Tampenco, and Ambrosio Morales were also engaged in the making of Rizal monuments. Tolentino has developed a mastery of the human figure, which is very essential in molding figures for monuments. He was commissioned to do the statue of the Oblation, which was constructed at the Rizal Hall area. Later, it was transferred to the University of the Philippines in Diliman. The works of Francisco Armonti heralded the modernism movement in sculpture. The Metropolitan Theater was the largest of the buildings erected during the modernism period. This building is characterized by a round facade and low and high figura ornaments in the lobby. It is the other sculpture during the American period.